Golf can feel overwhelming when you're first learning the game, especially when it seems like everyone around you knows all these different rules. They're moving seamlessly, taking relief, moving their balls, doing certain things, and you're thinking to yourself, I have no clue what they're doing. Well, that's okay. Stay with me because in this episode of the A Perfect Swing podcast, I'm going to break down the number one rule that's violated, but then I'm also going to really share some pertinent information around how the rules of golf are created, communicated, designed that will give you an intro into beginning to understand the rules. Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back to the Perfect Swing podcast, where we help beginners, professionals, and everyday golfers build confidence both on and off the course. I'm your host, Ashante Epps, LPGA Top 50 Best Instructor, as well as CEO and founder of A Perfect Swing Inc. Now, today we're talking about something that can intimidate almost every golfer, every new golfer, for sure, and that is the rules of golf. One of the largest myths in golf is that beginners need to know every rule before they start to play. That's absolutely not true. Even experienced golfers occasionally ask questions and check for rulings. When you're watching golf on TV, you see that even those touring professionals, they call for rulings and they have rules officials that come over and give rulings. So just note that golf and the rules is a lifelong learning game. The thing that matters the most, though, is that you want to be honest. You want to be respectful, keep up the pace, stay safe, and stay teachable. Those are the qualities that matter far more than any rule that you can memorize. All right. Now, so let's be honest. Golf has a reputation for having a lot of rules. Some of them are complicated, some may appear to be outdated. Some even, longtime golfers may say they don't think that they're necessary. But the good news is, beginners, you don't need to memorize everything in the rule book to enjoy the game. So that doesn't even matter. Now, there are what I would say a few foundational rules that you would need to know that would allow you to be more comfortable and avoid embarrassing moments, as well as earn the respect from the golfers around you 100%. And I'm going to cover that in the next episode. But today, we're going to give you some background knowledge on the rules of golf, who creates them, how they're managed, as well as I'm going to cover the number one violated rule of golf. All right. Now, so let's jump into it. All right. So I want to give some foundational information on some of the bodies in the golf industry. And when I say bodies, meaning organizations, governing bodies, things of that sort. So you're aware of the LPGA Tour. And if not, the LPGA Tour, that's where the women play. You'll see them on TV throughout the weekend playing the LPGA. Some of the LPGA Tour events could be the Chevron Championship, Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational, KPMG Women's PGA Championship, Solheim Cup, and then you have the LPGA Professionals. The LPGA Professionals, those are the instructors. Those are those that do golf operations, fitness, travel, general managers, all of those great things. So you have the LPGA Tour, and then you have the LPGA Professionals. Then you have the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour, those are the gentlemen that you see playing on television. Most weekends. You have the Genesis Invitational, the Charles Schwab Challenge, the Tour Championship. A myriad of those tournaments. Then you have the PGA of America, not to be confused with the PGA Tour. The PGA of America, it is the PGA professionals. So they're doing the instruction, they're doing golf operations, they're doing fitness, but then they also have tournaments that they manage, um, such as the PGA Championship and the Ryder Cup. Differentiating thing to know is that the LPGA, so the LPGA Tour, LPGA professionals, are women, and then the PGA Tour and PGA professionals are men and women. Okay. For the PGA Tour, there are only men playing, but from a PGA professional standpoint, there are men and women. Now, you see a myriad of tournaments that are played all the time, and they're all playing from the same rules, and those rules are identified and governed by the USGA. The USGA stands for the United States Golf Association. It was founded in 1894, and the USGA is one of the primary governing bodies of golf and is responsible for helping protect and grow the game of golf in the United States and beyond. So then you say, well, what does the USGA do? They write and maintain the rules of golf. The USGA works jointly with the RNA to create and update the official rules of golf used around the world. So when golfers have questions about lost balls or penalty areas or out of bounds, relief from cart paths, dropping procedures, the official answers come from the rules of golf, which is established through the RNA and the USGA. The USGA also conducts national tournaments. So when you see the tournaments like the US Open, the US Women's Open, the US Amateur, US Senior Amateur, the US Junior Amateurs, those tournaments, while even if you see some players that you've seen played in some of the other tournaments, those tournaments are managed by the USGA. Okay. They also oversee the handicapping system. The USGA, they helped develop the world handicapping system, which I'll do a podcast episode on that because that is something that's critical in this game as well. But it allows golfers of different skill levels to compete fairly against each other. It's really kind of leveling the playing field. So if you play your best golf, ensuring that your best golf can be compared to someone else's best golf evenly, and you have an opportunity to potentially win. Your handicap index is based on standards maintained through that system. So maintained through the World Handicap System. A lot more details to come in terms of that. The other thing that the USGA does is that they support the growth and research of the game. So they're investing in junior golf initiatives, turf grass, and course research in terms of, you know, fundamentally things needed for the golf course in particular, sustainability efforts, accessibility programs, as well as technology and innovation in the game. And then the other thing that they do is they're really preserving the spirit of the game. Golf, just from a traditional standpoint, it's a game of integrity. People are, you call penalties on yourself. So they're really preserving that tradition of integrity, honesty, respect, and sportsmanship. Hello, I'm excited to share an experience that I've been looking forward to, and I definitely want you to be a part of it. Join me and fellow LPGA professional Jamie Taylor for the A Perfect Swing Golf and Leadership Experience happening February 19th through the 22nd, 2027. This is a 4-day retreat created specifically for men and women business professionals who want to do more than just play golf. We're bringing together golf, leadership, networking, and professional development in one unforgettable experience. You'll have the opportunity to sharpen golf skills, build your confidence on the course, connect with other business professionals, and learn how the lessons we experience in golf, just like preparation, strategy, resilience, communication, and decision making, how they can help us become better leaders as well. Because golf isn't just about the score on the scorecard, it's about the relationships you build, the opportunities you create, and the lessons you take with you beyond the course. So if you're ready to sharpen your game, expand your network, and elevate your leadership, I'd love to see you there. Visit www.aperfectswing.net/golf experiences for all the details and to register. A Perfect Swing Golf and Leadership Experience where your next great connection comes just before the next swing. Some golfers may say, well, why should beginners know about the USGA? The USGA is really, really valuable as it pertains to you as a golfer. Now, again, like I said, you don't need to memorize the entire rule book, but you want to understand that the USGA is that organization responsible for the rules of golf. And if you head out to their website at usga.org, there's a lot of great information. The USGA is really considered the rule book authority. So if you head out to their website under playing, you have rules, handicapping, equipment, lots of, great information. And so we're talking about rules today. And so looking under rules, if we click under rules, you'll see that there's a free rules one-on-one course, lots of great videos and information for you to just really read and understand. There's also a rules app on your phone that you can download so that you actually literally have the rules at your fingertip. No need to memorize them, but you want to understand and know kind of pretty much what they are and the areas that you need to get information for them from. Okay. Another thing that's really cool is that you can email them a question in the contact us section and you'll actually get an answer. So great resource for all of your rules needs, and that is what the USGA is here for. All right, so I've built in a little trivia here. So how many rules of golf do you think there are? What would you say are the number of rules of golf? Seems like hundreds. It's actually only 25. There are 25 rules of golf, and they're broken down into different sections. So rules 1 through 4 are talking about the fundamentals of the game. Rules 5 through 6, playing the round and a hole. Rules 7 through 11, playing the ball. Rules 12 to 13, specific rules for bunkers and putting greens. Rule 14, lifting and returning the ball to play. Rule 15 through 16, free relief, meaning you can move the ball with no penalty. Rule 17 through 19, penalty relief, meaning you're taking relief or moving your ball, but you have to take a penalty. Rule 20, procedures for players and committee when issues arise in applying the rules. And then 21 through 24 are other forms of play, things like match play. And then Rule 25 is modifications for players with disabilities. So it always appears as though there are lots of rules of golf, but it's only 25. So the key is to understand and know the basic category areas. But if you download that app, you can really just search for a particular issue or question that you have and get your answer. Now, there are some key definitions as it pertains to the game of golf, too, that you want to be aware. So when you're looking at the rules, it's going to be important that you understand that depending on where the ball is determines how the ruling goes. So a ruling for a ball on the green in the same situation as the ruling on the tee box, they could be different. So the area of the course in which your ball is critical when you're looking up the rules of golf. So when you look on the screen in diagram 2.2, and this is coming straight from the USGA website, you'll see that there are 5 different areas on the golf course. You have one is the teeing area. So that's where your tee box is. So that's where you can use a tee. You're putting your ball on the tee, and that's where you start the hole. And then the second is the penalty areas. So you see here on this picture, the penalty area can be brush or wooded area, but it also can be the water. All right. And then you have bunkers. Those are your sand bunkers. So you see your sand bunkers here. Again, different rulings in the different areas on the golf course. And then you have for the putting green. So you see the flag here. So that's the putting green. And just note that you also, as you begin to look at the rules of golf, it's going to talk about a general area. And just note that the general area covers the entire area of the golf course except these. So that's why there are 5 different ones. It is these 4 areas and then everything else. So everything else is considered the general area. So the area of the course where the ball lies affects the rule that apply. So it's critical that when you're looking up the rules, you make sure you identify the area of on the course at which your ball is in. All right, so we've covered the USGA, why the USGA is important. We've talked about ways that you can learn the rules of golf, and that it's only 25 as opposed to probably the larger number that we all thought. So golf has one simple principle: play the ball as it lies. And that is the number one rules violation. Your ball is considered in play once you hit it off the tee box or off the tee on the tee box. So once you put the tee in the ground and put your ball on the top of it and you hit it, your ball is considered in play. That means once your ball comes to rest, you generally must hit it from the exact spot without moving to a better position. You can't roll it from behind a tree. You can't kick it in the bed of grass or improve your lie because the shot looks difficult. Now, beginners playing casually with friends sometimes use what we call preferred lies, or winner rules is probably what it's officially called. But we know that golf challenges you to play the course the way you find it. In essence, just wherever your ball lands, you play it from there. Or unless you're taking some type of relief. And so preferred lies, it's a temporary local rule that allows a player to lift their ball, clean it, and place it in a different spot within a certain distance of its original position. That's typically about a club length. And even when you're taking that relief, you want to use the driver, the longer club length, right? Um, but the most common informal name is really winter rules, because that's often, the time of year where you have wet grass, dormant grass, or uh, more deteriorating weather. So that's typically when that is. But also note that preferred lies can only be used in the fairway, on the fringe, or on the green. So you don't get the benefits of the preferred lies when you're out in the woods. Okay. Now, this rule teaches honesty, integrity, and problem solving, which is a big reason golf is respected in business and professional environments. So just a quick beginner tip: don't panic if your ball lands somewhere difficult. Every golfer is going to get a bad lie. You just identify where it is and use the rules to your best advantage. And if you aren't playing in an official tournament or playing for money, just drop it and go have fun. But I like to share this information because even if you're dropping it because you're just out having fun, I still want you to know what the correct thing is. Okay. Now, I cannot leave without a leadership lesson. You know me by now. So when we think about this from a leadership perspective, in golf, yes, we say play the ball as it lies. That reminds us that we don't always get the circumstances we want, but we get to choose how we respond to it. The same is true in leadership. Leaders will face unexpected challenges, difficult decisions, setbacks, and situations they didn't plan for. So, right, effective leaders, they don't waste time wishing the circumstances were different. No, they assess the situation, adjust their strategy, and make the best decision with what they have. You may not control the lie, but you can control the next shot. And in leadership, resilience means accepting reality, adapting to the circumstances, and continuing to move forward with confidence and purpose. Your leadership takeaway for today is you can't control every situation, but you can control your response. So, in closing, if you're new to golf, focus on progress, not perfection. Every golfer started somewhere. So, you don't have to perfectly know and memorize all of the rules of golf, but understanding that you can go to the USGA website and find those rules of golf, as well as take their free golf one-on-one education, you know where to find it. So thank you for listening to the A Perfect Swing podcast. If this episode helped you, share it with another beginner golfer, business professional, or junior player who's learning the game. And remember, a perfect swing isn't flawless, it is repeatable. I'm Ashante Epps, and I look forward to talking to you the next time. Thanks.